Hello YouTubers. Today's video is going to be my third part, the last piece of my passenger side fender for my 68 Cutlass. Everything's been done. The only thing left to do is the cut and buff on the Duplicolor paint shop jet block paint that I used. So I'm going to go over this. I had gone over it before, but I was just not filming the entire process, so I thought I'd film the entire process this time so that everybody could see. So let me get set up and bring you back. Just as a reminder, here's the fender that I've been working on. I went through all the steps of how to put in a patch panel, how to do the body work, how to paint it, how to clear it, and then finally get to this stage. So I wanted to show you everything that I'll be using to do this final step. And that is a bucket of water, a sanding block, and some 1500 grit wet and dry sandpaper. So once I get that step done, then I'll be coming over to the polishing piece, which I'll be starting with the Meguiar's 105 Ultra Cut Compound, and that'll remove all the scratches that the sandpaper put in, and then a final polishing with the 205, Meguiar's 205, and that'll give the final thing. And the other products that you'll need is, I just have a polishing rag, I have a 6-inch polisher, and a couple of pads that I'll be using. So one is this first one, and that is for the Meguiar's 105, and then I'll use one of these second pads for the Ultra finishing compound. So that's the process. So let me get you set up on the tripod, and I'll go ahead and start the wet sanding. But I guess before I do, what I'll talk about is, I'm just trying to, like when I color sanded, I think there's a bug somewhere in here because I do everything outside. I'm just trying to get the high spots off again. Just like with the color sanding where you're trying to remove the high spots off the paint, I'm just removing the high spots off of the clear. And that should hopefully get rid of any orange peel that I have, and you'll be able to see what it looks like after that. Okay. All right, here I go with the wet sanding. Here's after one piece of sandpaper, 1500 grit, and you can see that I have some whitish areas and then some deeper black areas under there, which just means that I didn't get down all the way down. And is that wet? Yeah, it's just some water. That'll dry off there. That means that I could stand to do just a little bit more work on some areas of this. Probably especially along the top here, where I've been in a little bit of a hurry here, or the sandpaper was running out. But I'll go ahead and hit it with one more piece being extra careful not to do anything stupid at this late stage and burn through a corner or something like that. But that gives you an idea of what you have to do. And like I said, that takes any imperfections that may have landed, like any pieces of dirt, you know, whatever it was, bugs, whatever, that'll get it out of the clear coat. And believe me, when you hit it with the Meguiar's, this will all go away and it'll look good. So let me hit it one more time and it'll be ready for polishing. All right, piece number 2. Okay, the panel is here. I've rearranged it a little bit just so it makes it a little easier for me to buff on. You might have noticed that I stayed away from these lips. A, because I didn't want to burn through, and second, because most of that lip is covered up by a piece of chrome. I will hit it with a buffer, but that's why I didn't worry about it too much. Some of these pieces, you know, you just don't see very much, but I did want to bring you back and show you how and what the second coat, or the second try of the sanding, netted me. And I would say for the most part, I'm pretty happy. I didn't see burning through anything, so that's good. The panel is looking and feeling smooth, and it's clean. I've wiped it down. So we're gonna go ahead, and I've got the buffer set up now, and I'm just gonna come over here and put a few dots. So just dot, 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 dot of the product on the buffer. I'll start at a low speed, probably around 2, and then as soon as I'm safe enough that I can't fling a lot of it, I'll speed it up, and I'll just work it into one small piece of the panel at a time. So back on the panel, you know, maybe I'll tackle an area of about this size, and just keep doing that until it's all done. So let me throw you up on the tripod and we'll get started. And here we go. Okay, let me bring you around. All right, so here is the way it looked, and as we come over, we can see the way that it looks now. Now, as you can see, it looks 100% better than it did before. So, and I didn't spend but, 2-3 minutes on that panel, and all of the scratches are now gone. So it's looking pretty good. I didn't spend any time in the lip yet, but I will. I did have some problems with the panel wanting to move around with me, so I had to spend a little bit of time shoring it up. But I think I got it on there, so it's not going to move on me. So let me go ahead and do the rest of this, and then we'll come back. And remember, there's still another piece to go over here. We still have to do the polishing. So this is just the McGuire's calls everything, ultra cut, whatever. And so let me finish up the panel and bring you back. All right, I have completed the first step, well actually the first 2 steps of the finishing of this fender, and that is the wet sanding and the cutting of the clear coat to get that nice deep black color, which is showing through now. Just showing you, what it looks like after the first couple of steps are completed. There's one more step to do now, which is the polishing. So I will go ahead and just review what those steps are, and then do them, and then bring you back to see, how it turned out. So we just reviewed the Ultra Cut 105 McGuire's. Now I'm going to switch over to the 205, the Ultra Polishing. I'm going to switch over to, I believe, this black pad. So I'll put that black pad on there, and then I'll just go through the same steps of putting the product on the pad, and then, applying it to the fender. When I get done with that, it's ready to put the trim back on. So I'm pretty happy. Like I said, this area here was all cut out and replaced with the new piece. There were some paint problems on this fender. It was just old paint, and those have now been corrected. And all right, we'll put on the polishing, and we'll take a look. Well, I just finished polishing the fender. That is all the stages that I plan on doing to this, and I can see it must look a lot better because I see myself in the shot. So I'm pretty happy with the results, and the fender looks a whole lot better than it did before I started. So I'm showing you, how it looks now, what it takes to do this 2-stage type of painting, what you could be in for. I mean, if you had a garage and you had, a better working environment that I did, it may not be this many steps. But if you're going to be outside and attempting this type of work, in this type of environment, then you're most likely, going to run into some of the same issues that I did. And this just gives you, an explanation and a demonstration of what it'll take, to take on a project of this size. It's been a lot of fun shooting this, and I really appreciate you sticking by to watch all this. I'm gonna go ahead, and the next thing is to put on the trim. I'll put on the trim, and then it's time to go back on the car. So maybe before I end this video, I'll go ahead and show you all of that. Well, I just got done putting all the trim back on the fender. There's only a couple of things missing from this fender. One is the front side marker light that is with the car, and same thing with this hole there. For those that don't know, that is where the antenna goes. So that's with the car too. So, but other than that, I've got the trim on it. A piece of trim up here too. Trim here, trim here. I've got that other piece in that I've talked about a few times. It's a little tricky. You have to get everything done in the right order, but that trim is in here too. This is a piece of metal. I had to paint that, and I painted that off camera, but it matches everything else. Here's the eyebrow in there. Yeah, so this is looking pretty good. I'm happy with it. I just need a helper to give me a hand to get this back on the car. But outside of that, it's done. So looking forward to getting it out of here and back on the car. And then I can start on the hood. Hopefully I'll have a helper soon, and I'll be able to get this on the car and show you what it looks like there. All right, I wanted to show you, I just placed on the fender on the car. I don't have it all the way lined up or shimmed or anything. I just have it on here. So there's a lot of little, not a lot of them here, a lot of little things you have to do to shim these up and get them to look decent. But it's on here. I wanted to show you how it's matching the rest of the car. There's probably going to be some of that when there's, you know, sunlight issues, that there'll be a little bit of that little lighter color than maybe the rest of the car. I'm pretty sure, since the other fender is the same way. That's just part of the what I've noticed what happens with this clear coat. So anyways, let me give you my final thoughts. My final thoughts are, you know, this is a project that I feel a lot of people can do, minus maybe some of the welding and whatnot. It may take a little bit of time till you're able to do those steps if you're a beginner, but if you're of average skill level, you can probably tackle this. It will take some persistence. There's a lot of steps. You know, you just take a little bit at a time. Work on it as you can, like I do, where you can, and you know, it takes, you know, probably a month or two for me to get from the beginning to the end of this. But it's something you can definitely do. As long as you keep plugging away at it, you'll get it done. So if you like this content, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and until the next video, I'll see you next time.